time, I'd ask for any proposed modifications to the agenda.
Madam Chair, I have a motion.
Okay.
The properly posted agenda is now the legal set of topics that can be discussed this evening. Regarding the sudden change in format, however, and the capricious decision by the chair to arbitrarily and without consulting with the entire board troubles me on 2 counts. First, the decision by simple fiat to make such a monumental change to procedure and precedence without even an attempt to gain consensus simply because it suits her personally, reference or statement accompanying the board's digital packet. I'd like to read. You will note that the agenda format has changed from the one we've been working with the past 2 years. Having spent years with an old business, new business format, as well as a discussion/motion to move the question/vote sequence, I'm much more comfortable overseeing a meeting in this style. I hope that the result will be a smooth flow for agenda items. This is not about you, Madam Chair, it's about what's proper, and I'd like to hear from other board members on this topic and have prepared a motion to ask for a second to do so properly as a result. But before that, the main concern is my second reason, and that's the change to the long-standing practice to hear the public viewpoint prior to taking any action on board business. I think it's unheard of to make such a change, a bold change, without consulting with the board. If there's justifiable reason beyond that it suits you better personally, I'd like to hear about it first and discuss it. When the format change was made back in May 2012, when I was acting as chair, provided a several-page summary of where we were and what steps would be put before the board to remedy a number of concerns, but without such a major public communication sacrifice as is being mandated here. Therefore, given that we have some important matters that really must be dealt with on this agenda, I ask for a second to this motion to discuss it. And that motion is that only items 5, public comment, 6, presentation by the New Hampton Community School team, 9C, the NADA notice, and XA, the election of staff, admins, and SAU, be taken up and acted upon this evening. And we finish the meeting under item 13, other business, with the only topic being discussion on meeting format changes.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, hearing no second. Motion fails. Time for public comment on agenda items. No public comment. Okay, moving on to presentation by the Destination Imagination Team. Sorry.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ann Holleran, the principal of New Hampton Community School in Danbury Elementary School. This evening we have a great presentation for you. We have the fortunate pleasure, if we raise enough money, to head down to Knoxville, Tennessee in the end of May for our DI team that's present tonight to compete at the national level against several teams, not only from our country but also from other countries. And so we would like to show you what the skit is, what it entails. I wrote some things in the packet, so hopefully you had some time to preview the information in the packet. And then you will be able to ask us questions, and maybe the students will share their experience and what they're learning. You'll be amazed, everything here the students had to create. The dialogue that they will speak was student-driven and student-written. And Sam's going to take a couple minutes to kind of talk about the breakdown and what category they picked, because they had 6 choices or 7 choices to pick from. So Sam will give you a little background knowledge so that when you watch the skit, you'll understand it a little bit more. So Sam Austin is one of the coaches, and Holly Cook is the other coach. So thanks for, again, letting us come tonight, and I'll hand it over to Sam.
Thank you. All right, Destination Imagination, for those of you who don't know, is a creative process where each year 6 challenges are developed by educators and industry experts. And this year our team has chosen to perform the Fine Arts Challenge called Laugh Art Loud. There is a big component of Destination Imagination is the interference policy, which means that parents, teachers, friends cannot interfere with their performance. They have to develop, create, solve the challenge independently. With the Laugh Out Loud challenge that they chose, they had to do a number of things to meet the challenge criteria. One being they had to choose a work of art that was created by an artist in a country other than that in which the students were born. So they chose a Tunisian work of art from the 3rd to 5th century AD. There is, the artist is unknown, and it was, the artistic media was mosaic. They then needed to incorporate that throughout their presentation, so you'll see lots of mosaic throughout. They also had to build a comic strip story with 3 freeze frames throughout, so you'll see that. And in at least one of the panels, they need to have a caption contraption. So using technical methods, they needed to create a contraption to display their caption. These fine students went above and beyond. They didn't just make one caption contraption, they made 3. So you can look forward to that throughout their presentation. So the story is based on a wolfish woman who steals a famous fish, and when she steals the famous fish, the ocean turns murky and stagnant. And the reason she steals the fish is she wants to have a golden mansion with maids and butlers. So she then carries on with the fish, and the fish detective agencies are hired to find the fish. And in the end, the fish is found and returned to the water. So you will see that through their artifact. It has a clear beginning, middle, and end on their artifact. So with that said, I will turn it over to these guys. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go fishing.
Keegan, can I ask you to move just for a second? Which way? Just over here.
Yeah, come on out and introduce yourselves before we go fishing.
Thank you.
Our team name is the Fishers. We're from the New Hampton Community School, like you already know. I'm Noah. I'm the narrator in our story.
I'm Riley, and I'm a fish detective person. I'm Sydney, and I'm a maid. I'm Cameron, and I'm the mayor. I'm Mika, and I'm the wolfish woman. I'm Jasmine, and I'm the FDA.
And that's the cast. How many fish-related words can you count? It was the evening of June 23rd. Full Fish Day was approaching. The official day when all the people of the island of New Fishenburg dressed up in colorful fish costumes. The residents of this scaly town spooled to the beaches to swim and play go fish on the seashore.
Do you have a knife? No, go fish.
But most importantly, they come to see and feed the marvelous fish that surfaces once a year on this special day.
This is the best day of the year. I can't wait to see all the colors of the glass fish this year. Yeah, this is so much fun. Remember how pink the glass fish looked last year? I wonder what color it'd be this year.
There happened to be a sneaky, selfish, wolfish woman strolling through town. She had come to New Fishenburg with a fishy scheme in mind. Her slimy plan was to hook the rare, famous glassfish. As the last rays of light disappeared, she ran to the cove where the boat was moored.
It's time to reel in my riches.
The wolfish woman began to cast about for this unique fish. As the moonbeams danced on the water's surface, she felt a strong tension on her line and began to think about reeling it in. She decided she would need to be cautious so the line would not break. She reeled the fish in swiftly but carefully. When she reached the end of her line, she jumped back as the fish slashed out of her with a sharp, spiny body.
This was not the fish I was hoping for. It's just a mean and fat pufferfish.
The wolfish woman girlfishly launched the fish back into the waves and rebaited her fish hook with artificial bait. As the moon ended its show and the sun began to peek over the horizon, she was about to give up. It was a long evening of many casts and random junk. As she gazed at the lighthouse, she felt one final tug on her line. And for perhaps the first time all evening, she began to feel hopeful, for her bobber disappeared below the dark and foamy surface. Her muscles tensed in anticipation, finally catching a prize.
Could this be it? Could this be my dream come true?
The wolfish woman closed her eyes and slowly and steadily reeled in her catch. It seemed to take forever. Did she dare open her eyes to disappointment once again? Finally, she could not resist the temptation to carry eyeballs any longer. She opened her eyes with a snap, and there, to her amazement, was the spectacular sight of the glassfish. At first, she thought she was dreaming. She pictured herself in a magnificent royal golden mansion with maids screaming about platters of various seafood.
Mmm, a cake!
Then, she snapped back to reality. In a flash, she grabbed the fish and threw it off the waters.
I can't believe this is really happening. This is a fish wish come true.
The next day, when the townspeople gathered at the water's edge to begin the full fish day preparations, they realized something was wrong. For the water was dark, murky green, with lifeless seaweed and kelp. There was worry in the water and on land.
What has happened to our water? Why is the water so dark and stagnant?
The villagers quickly scanned the water for the glowing glass fish, but the fish was nowhere to be found. The people were gripping their heads and dragging their feet in the sand. Crying sadly, they knew there was something fishy going on. Mayor Dill of New Fishenburg loved to keep his residents happy. He knew it was time for some quick and drastic action.
I know who to call. I will summon smart detectives from the Fish Detective Agency. They're the best at solving fish-related crimes. Is anyone here from the FDA?
We can handle this.
I'm Barb.
And I'm Rod.
We're the best detectives in the agency. Thanks for calling us and trusting us to handle this fish crisis.
I know of no better agents in the land, but hurry! If the glassfish is not returned by high noon, our celebration will be an aquatic disaster.
Don't worry, we'll look at every angle until we hook our camera.
Someone must have lifted the anchor and gone offshore quickly. We must go to Will Waters to search for glassfish.
They find tracks and drag marks in the sand. With stealth, they follow them. But they don't get far before they become upon a barricade made of sticks, mud, and a beverage stand.
That was quite a boat ride. I'm feeling a bit thirsty. Let's have a quick drink of this juice to cool us down.
How about a little of this? And a little of that? Oh, this is my favorite type of drink. Look, a clue. I know this is suspicious.
Fishing for clues.
They split up and began to fish around for more clues. Barb scanned the river while Rod entered the shanty. Rod peeked into the shanty and saw the wolfish woman dancing around with joy and excitement for the day's catch. Her jaw dropped when she saw the glassfish on the floor. Quietly, she called for Barb.
Barb, I see the glassfish.
Stop right there! What are you doing here? We're here to save the ocean in full fish day. Never! I will not give you the glassfish. The glassfish is the key to my life's desire. To have a golden mansion made while scurrying around with artificial food. The wolfish woman
Tried to escape and knew she was caught. She won't be getting out of there for a while. Let's throw the fish back into the water.
Oh my gosh! The colors are changing from brown to rainbow colors. The fish might be excited.
Now, did you count how many fish-related words there were? If my calculations are correct, there are 101. Don't you think the wolfish woman should spend 101 years in captivity for a fishtail?
Holy mackerel! That's a long time!
All right, good job, you guys. You can just kind of hang. So sit in the front because people might. So there are two parts to their competition. So you saw the open skit part. There's also another part called an instant challenge where they go to the event. And they go in a room with some judges, and only one adult can come with them as the witness, and they are received an envelope that has a problem. And so they have a certain amount of time to read the problem, ask questions, and then they have to solve that problem using teamwork, using cooperation, using all of the common core skills that we're headed into of problem solving. Sometimes it's a mathematical problem where you have these certain pieces of equipment and you need to pick up a tennis ball on the bottom of the floor and you get so many points to bring it back to the table. And so that is another part of this challenge. So there's this skit part that they've been practicing for quite a long time and in developing different pieces of artwork. They got feedback at each of their performances, and so it was really neat to see at the regional performance. One of the suggestions was to bring more of the fish mosaic into the entire skit. And so you notice like the detectives now have the fish piece on the back of their capes. Their t-shirts have more. So they took the information from the judges, and again, all on their own. Holly and Sam can't help. They need to come up with how are they going to add to their performance. So then they went to states, and they were really successful there, placed first in the states. And so now we have an opportunity to head to the nationals or the globals. So I don't know if anyone has any questions about that, and then I'll ask the big question after that. But if anyone has any questions or comments, I know they would love to hear from you guys.
I would just like to add that they did a wonderful job. Very nice.
Thanks.
Pretty awesome.
Very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
How long did it take you to make all this?
We started in November, like last year.
7 or 6 months.
Excellent.
Yeah, Don?
Where did they come up with the fish idea?
Well,
Stand up, you guys. Why don't you stand up so they can see you?
well, Noah and Cameron we all were in room 2 looking on the internet, and those two found some fish pictures. We like Cameron's. It was a mosaic fish with a little pond. So then we liked that. We had our own idea about the fish pond. But then we found out that we couldn't use that because it wasn't in a museum. It was in a garden. It was in a garden. And then Noah found. And then I went home. I kept looking, and I found this. It was very popular on the internet. I kept seeing it, and it was. Do we have another copy?
It was.
Well, it was like sort of brownish. What was it called? No, a smoked fish. A smoked fish,
and it was like brown, and it had like, it kind of looked like that. Yeah, but it actually curved more, and it looked better. It looked slimming. It looked way better. It was slimming.
Yeah, great. So that's how you got your idea. Good answer. Christine? Yeah, Christine?
Yeah, I have a question. What do you all think you've gotten out of this experience?
Let's start with Noah and kind of work around, okay?
Well, I really like the woodwork, and since I went to EI, I got to do a lot of working. Like this stand, for instance, I got to make that. And then under all these tiles, there's a wooden frame that I got to build. It was really fun, but hard, because triangles are the hardest thing to build out of wood.
Great. Cameron, what'd you learn from being a part of this?
I learned how to communicate with others and teamwork and helping others.
Nice. Sydney, what'd you learn?
I learned about a lot of creativity and helping each other and helping friends if they are struggling.
Great. Mika, what'd you learn?
I learned to cooperate better.
Cooperate better? Nice. Excellent. Jasmine? Nice and loud.
I learned how to work better in a group.
Good. Work better in a group. So again, all these skills, problem solving, social life. Riley, what'd you learn?
Well, I learned that it's much more funner to work with a group instead of by myself.
Excellent. Great. Good answers, you guys. That was fabulous. Mrs. Cook, what'd you learn?
Oh, I learned to continue to have fun with kids and just am in awe with their creativity and innovation, what they can do.
Mrs. Austin, what'd you learn from hanging with this crew for 6 months?
Oh, they're a lovely bunch.
She told us that we acted like twins. We were together so much.
Not twins. I said they were like siblings by the end. We have spent so many hours together. What did I learn? I learned that to never give up. And these guys, they had days where they were at each other's throats as far as whose idea was going to win out. They were crying. They celebrated together. It was amazing to see their roller coaster of emotions as they went through this experience together and just watching them.
But
them grow.
sometimes she didn't let us celebrate.
Well, you had to get work done, too.
Yeah, to get work done.
We wanted to do everybody dance now, and she couldn't.
All right, let's turn this over to the crew, to the school board again.
So there's two requests here. One is actually for a field trip request for them to be actually able to go on the trip. And the second request is for if the board would be willing to provide some financial support. I think there's a rationale for everything in your packet.
And you just found out at the end of March,
Correct, March 29th.
and you've already raised $3,500?
Correct.
We're about there.
Yeah.
Good job, in a very short time. On the transportation options right now, are you leaning toward the bus?
We have a variety of means. We have one family that car sickness is a big concern for that family. So we're trying to look at all the options and what best suits each family at this point in time. So we've kind of thought about looking at all of this work, and then the artwork is a really huge part of this. And so we're thinking one of our crews will be traveling down via a car with probably a U-Haul or a trailer behind it, just to make sure, all of this hard work, all of this dedication, you don't want to box it up and then get down to Knoxville, Tennessee and have it be ruined. So we have a family that's looking at maybe doing the bus, the DI, New Hampshire DI bus, because they feel that best meets their family needs. So we're trying to do conservatively and knowing how much we need to fundraise and where we are right now, and allowing families some options.
I was wondering about people with frequent flyer miles and free flights that got bumped, so shout out to the people at home. If you have them, donate them to them so they can get there. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the field trip request?
So,
And a second. Second. Second by Dawn, first by Sue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Leah, everybody's for the field trip. And then on the request for funding, we're requesting $2,000, and that is to get 2 coaches there?
Yeah, it was our, and again, of course, if the board wanted to have more money, that would be great and fabulous. But we were hoping that the board would support the 2 coaches for their fundraising, so they wouldn't have to worry about fundraising that money themselves, so that they could really help the families in that fundraising piece. Also, being employees of the district, it would be showing them that support that we have as a district to provide them with that money to send them down. They're going to be on call, 24/7. Yes, we have parents going, but they're really going to be on call 24/7. This is our first experience going down also, so I think that adds a little bit of that stress, a little bit of that organization piece. So if we could relieve that stress of them trying to have to fundraise themselves on top of what they're doing right now, organizing the fundraisers, going out and speaking with people, we would just really appreciate that.
And that's Mrs. Austin and Mrs. Cook, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I know I told you, but there was a DI team around 2007 maybe that went from here, so they may have ideas for fundraising too.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. People have reached out to us. It's been in the paper. We've tried to get the word out. So one of those individuals have, and a parent of one of those students has reached out to us and has given us some ideas and things like that. So.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, do we have a motion? Oh, yes?
Just the funding did come up short. Could they come back to us?
Stacy?
Yeah.
I had asked Stacy ahead of time where the money's coming from, so I'm gonna let her answer.
So whatever the board approves, we'll have to, Mike and I will work to find the line item to take the money from. It would come out of field trips, which obviously is not budgeted for this, but we'll find the money within the budget to do whatever the board approves.
No, but if there was
If there was a shortage, yeah.
money needed.
What's the day of the?
May?
May.
You're going in May?
May 19th, so it's just after the
Yeah,
next board
we-
meeting.
sorry to
They were
interrupt.
short. They
May
could come back.
2nd is the deadline for the hotel, for the
Reservation.
housing down there, the food plan, so we need to have that money, which is about $9,500 raised for that May 2nd. We can then, continue to fundraise to get us down there to do some of those things, but that's our next big date that we need a lot of our fundraising done by.
Are you expecting to stay in the dorm? I looked online and saw that different housing because I was going to ask somebody who works for a hotel chain about getting you guys a good price, but it looked like they would put you in the dorm unless you asked for something different. Is that right?
Typically what they do is house you with your affiliate, so we would be housed with other New Hampshire teams, so the kids would have the opportunity to reach out to other teams in the area and it's either in a dorm on campus or it's in a hotel, so it's one or the other.
And when will you know?
We won't know until a week before we go.
Oh, okay. But the money's due before you know?
Yes, the money's due.
Okay. Okay. And the 3 of you are going as chaperones, right? And you're going as well.
I would love to have the opportunity to go to support the team, but I know with the amount of money we need to fundraise, I would be the last person to go. So again, on that May 1st, if we're not looking like we have all that money, then, I will bow out. I totally trust all these fine kids and our coaches and our amazing parents. So I'm on the list for now, but as of right now with our fundraising, I would wait for the last minute to make that decision.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure we get everyone else down there before I go.
Anything else? What's that?
Is there a specific number they've asked for?
$2,000.
2,000.
Where is that on this?
That's on the letter that explained, it's on the flip side of the, right there, that page.
Oh, okay.
And that's for 2 chaperones.
How'd you do with your collection buckets at the Susical?
Really good. Pretty good.
We did well, just over $100 both Friday night and Saturday night. And Saturday afternoon was about 50.
But then, and Miss,
Stand up.
one of our teachers that retired last year, she won the 50-50 raffle. She won the 50-50 raffle, and she, how much was it? 182. And she wanted to donate that to us, so we had 182 from her. She gave it to us without even knowing, without us not even knowing.
So it was kind of, yeah, so that was a really nice gesture from a former teacher of ours.
I will personally give you $100,
Fabulous.
and I would challenge anybody to match it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we find any more funds in regards to this from the board?
You can find whatever the board would like to
Yeah,
donate.
I was
I
going to
mean,
say, I think we need a motion with the dollar amount, so if anybody wants to make a motion, then if you want to make a motion for more than 2, of course they'll take it. So I'm looking for a motion, I think.
I would like to move that this board support this effort to the tune of $4,000. I have seldom seen such excellent creativity and desire, and I think it's something I would like to support. So, may I have a second for that motion?
Also, Christine, second. I know, competition for a second there. I'm just saying it out loud so that Leah can hear me. Yeah, so that's moved by Vinnie, second by Christine for $4,000. I never call you Vinnie, by Vincent. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor.
yes.
No, I know, it just came out, because everybody else says it, that's why, yeah. Okay, any discussion?
Can we have some kind of a contingency in the sense of if they don't get their goal, it can come back to us?
We will meet again before they leave, so they don't need all of it before May 2nd. They need 9,500, they've raised 3,500, if we give them 4,000, that takes them to 7,500. And another 100 takes them to 7,600, so they're 1,900 away now from that goal. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, everyone voted, Leah, in the affirmative.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll try to be quiet.
Good luck to you.
So we're going to have a parent meeting in the CAF.
Okay.
So that's where we're headed next.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Diane Judge. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I was going to ask for some height.
I learned how to spell officially.
I know, that's so, yeah.
When I was at the first competition and when the judges handed out the awards and everybody is in there, they said, And they had us hook, line, and sinker. It just played right into it. It was awesome.
There's some great personalities on that team.
Okay. All right, next we have a bunch of minutes, all in blue in our packets. So February 1st, February 10, March 10, and March 20. And after we go through any necessary changes, I'd like to suggest that we have one motion to approve the full.
So you, just as addition, because we didn't actually go back to the modification, you do not have the February 1 deliberative session minutes. You'll have those at your next meeting.
Okay.
We're almost done with them. We have a couple of meetings we need to figure out who they are.
Well, that's better than the 2013 minutes that were.
Yes.
Yeah. The original agenda.
Do you want changes?
Yep.
February 10, 9A, the language should be on the third line that RSA states that we can retain no more than 2.5%. Add no.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
Do you want to keep going?
Yes, yep, keep going.
So on February 10th, number 10, Fred Robinson, the second line, it should be some people work at summer camps, not a summer camp. To March 10th. What's in here? March 20th, 5B. Near the end where, the superintendent reported she had met with the administrators, discussed it with NADA and Deidre Conway, who shared it with the teachers and got their feedback. Spoke with Plymouth, and there was a big discussion about after Plymouth had set their calendar.
So you want that inserted?
It inserted.
And do you want?
And shared it with the board.
So after the word Plymouth, you want after?
After Plymouth had set their calendar. That's all I have.
The only thing I had was on March 20th, just below what you had just said, Dawn, under policies for first reading, we list a lot of those policies that didn't actually get read that night and are in tonight's packet for first reading. So I think we need to strike that or just say that they were tabled until this meeting.
It doesn't actually say that we took any action on them.
I know, but it says, as amended, 5C and 5D are policies for first reading, and that you presented them for discussion and are looking for feedback. Normally, that means they've been officially read, and they weren't officially read.
I think we tabled those, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it just needs to be added that 5C and 5D were tabled until this meeting.
Oh, yeah. On page 5, it talks about that. Oh, no, it doesn't.
So, you know, because we have the first read, second read before their final,
Yeah.
it makes it look like there's a first read. Even though, because it says motion to approve under 5C, instead of motion to table.
Yes.
No, it says on mine, 9C, it says action,
Okay.
motion to table.
Okay, I got
All
it.
policy.
Then it says moved by you, seconded by Ben. Instead of tabled being Xed out, it says approved. So I think it's confusing about what really happened with those that night.
Well, we did take a vote
Yeah,
to
so
table.
that's wrong.
Right, so instead of saying
And
approved,
approved, so table.
do we X both, tabled and approved?
No, it was
It
tabled,
was
and in order
tabled,
to...
all of those were tabled.
Right, and in order to discuss it tonight, technically, we have to pass a motion to take it from the table.
So in the minutes, I'm just wondering how to record this so that it's clear. Should we just X the block with the word table?
On 9C.
Okay. Did you get that, Leah?
I did, yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Well, on March 10th, page 6, number 17, it says to recess for a specified period of time until the following date and time, but there is none there. Is that recess? Or adjourn?
It
should be adjourned.
Is that because we went to non-public at the end of the meeting and then came back? So we weren't adjourning at that time?
We did reset, you're right, we
Yeah.
went into non-public after the meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so we
there
did
wouldn't be a
recess.
specific time, okay.
Although.
So then we did come back in though, so
Right.
there's almost like we need another, we need a 17 something or other
Yeah.
that has.
17A to recess and a 17B to adjourn.
Usually we just go into non-public, yes.
But then we had to return to leave. So I don't know who moved what there.
We can certainly go back to the.
Right,
and-
yeah.
I'm questioning, there was no recess.
Usually we just move to go into non-public,
Yeah,
it's not
there's a-
called a recess.
So what do you think we should have there?
Well, the time to go into non-public should be specified on here, I don't know why it isn't. It's in my notes.
Okay.
Well, on page 7, you have your
Yeah.
non-public minutes.
Page 7 is at 8:05 PM into non-public.
Non-public.
Right, and then there should be a time when we finish, which is what it says,
8:28.
8:28.
Right. So then we need
Then you have to come back out and officially
adjourn.
adjourn.
So 17 should really be motion to adjourn.
Yeah, because she has 8:30 there.
Yeah, that's a superfluous exit.
Okay, so
So
it
remove
should say motion
recess.
to adjourn
Correct.
instead of recess. Okay, so that's 17, Leah, motion to adjourn instead of recess. I'm sure that as his last act, Paul was part of that movement. Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Okay, can I entertain a motion to approve the minutes as amended for February 10, March 10, and March 20?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Dawn. And a second?
Second.
Okay, I heard Jeff first, okay? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions?
I'm going to abstain from that.
Abstain? Vincent Paul abstained from that one? All right, then on to correspondence and reports, which are in purple and green both. These are informational, so they don't require action, but if anyone has questions. Or comments?
Just the purple ones.
And that first green one?
Mike, how's the surplus property advertised?
Practically as you see it here in the newspaper.
Okay, so it is advertising?
Absolutely.
In our, what, 3 newspapers of record?
I believe so. Sue does the same thing for all those postings, so, as well as on our website. And there's some interesting items in this one, if anyone's interested.
I passed on the stuff about the athletic equipment.
Yeah.
So for those watching, we have a bench press, a fly machine, and a squat rack. The fly machine's damaged.
And all you have to do is email us, and put a bid in on these items.
Yeah, and bids are due by May 30th at 3 o'clock.
Correct.
To the business administrator.
I noticed that one of our students, David Gibson, received a full scholarship to Harvard.
You got it.
That's amazing.
Holy cow.
I just,
That's good.
wow.
Well deserved.
Just to get accepted is pretty huge. Insurance, we had a decrease?
Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned this. This is a
It's
rare...
good news for us.
It's very good news for us. I've personally never seen this happen where they give us rates. And just to clarify too, that would be a 9.7% decrease in what we actually budgeted for 2015.
That's a big.
These are the final rates. So, very interesting.
Do we have less people enrolled, do you think?
There's some, that has something to do with it, because we're in a risk pool, our claim history affects it. We don't get some of the kind of market issues that you deal with, but that has a significant impact on our budget for next year. And if you remember back, the rates that they were giving us, they gave us rates that were showing in 9.6%. And on average, we've gone up over 7% annually. So this is really uncharacteristic, and so they did their math right.
Scary when it's less.
Well, we'll take it.
Wait till next year.
Yeah, we'll take it.
These are the final rates which we sign off on, so.
Of course.
Anyone else? Okay.
So this is where you ask.
That's what I have it written down to do, just that very thing. So first, Mimi, do you have any news? Good news, bad news, whatever? No? Okay. And Keegan, hello. I don't know if we've ever met, except maybe once. So do you have any news for us from the school?
Well, nothing really serious going on. Everyone's excited for prom.
Where's prom this year?
It's a secret.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
no
kind of
parents
weird.
allowed?
They're not telling where prom is until the morning of prom.
Oh my God.
You better tell these people.
You won't tell anyone.
Well, I know where it is.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to, but I know where it is.
Okay.
You think?
So we'll keep the secret under wraps.
What else? The student council just amended their constitutions and elected a historian so next year we can be an honors council. But unfortunately we missed the deadline, so we are not currently. But other than that, not much going on.
Thank you. Okay. On old business, the first thing is committee assignments. This is, I really think, a draft. But anyway, I took what you had said were your choices, and I tried to give everyone balance in terms of the number of committees and looked at the time commitment for those committees. So the only one who might want to jump in and grab something from somebody else is Sue. I kept some people on things that they were on and knew a lot about, so that would apply to Vincent Paul and Don for the data task force, and also Vincent Paul for the football field oversight committee, because I know just in conversation, sometimes you said, no, that's not in the original agreement. I don't know what the original agreement is, so need somebody who has that history. Sue has the policy history, so.
What about the Hill Committee?
Vincent Paul was already on 3 before that, so that's why it is you and I still, and Ben added. Yeah. I thought it was.
That should be
I thought.
back to the history.
Yeah, but we haven't got very far on it, and I thought it was more important that you remain the legislative rep.
I'm fine with it.
But if anyone's unhappy, then speak now or until next March, hold your peace.
Wasn't there a curriculum committee last year?
It wasn't on the list of committees, and maybe that's because we're looking for a curriculum coordinator.
It wasn't like there was no, we talked about this, it was a council, I think.
Right.
That might have been in existence, but I don't think, I couldn't find any documentation that it has met recently, so.
What's that?
We limited the number of committees
Right,
that made council.
and there were a couple where there had been no minutes. Stacy had gone back and there'd been no minutes, and there'd been no meetings for like 3 years, so we dropped them from the list. Because it wasn't happening. Okay, any concerns with your assignments? Okay, we don't have to vote on this, do we?
It might be nice just to approve
Okay,
them.
all right.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, then,
I move to approve the committee assignments as presented by the chair.
and do I have a second?
Second.
And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? 7 ayes. Okay, the next thing is the policies for first reading, but they have to be, they were not in this packet, they were in your packet the month before. So if you're digging for them, you're not going to find them. And in the month before, they were yellow.
We brought them to the meeting. Yep.
I mean, I took it out of my last month's packet.
Yep.
Right. Do you guys have your last month's stuff? Maybe new people? Okay. It's in your car. Okay, well, you can share with me. But we need a motion to bring these off the table because they were tabled.
I'll move to remove the policies that were tabled last month's meeting. Back for discussion.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
I don't have to vote on a move to untable, do I?
Yes.
I do, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So, 7 ayes. Yeah, I didn't actually realize it until I got ready and went scrambling. Don, can you share your copies with Vincent Paul?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess, one at a time. Jeff, we're gonna let you explain. You
Want me to do it?
Yeah, for the third time, I mean, somebody else can do it, please.
So policy KG is a new policy for you to, we had a policy KG, we've expanded upon it, it is far more complex, but I think it will help guide us all in setting scheduled fees for different groups that use our facility. We really tried to tighten it up so that it was really clear what the expectation was from administration when we book our buildings by outside groups, what we would be charging. Again, to try to be fair and consistent across the board. So it is now a 10-page policy. So take a look at that.
Well, the policy itself, I just want to clarify, is 1 page. But
The regulations that go with it.
the form for making
kind of the procedures
right
are a little lengthier. And that's where the big substantial change has been.
And I wanted to add that in the policy committee meeting, Stacy brought in a whole bunch of scenarios for us to consider to figure out where we would put that group and whether or not we would charge that group. And we really, you know, did a bunch of little case studies to sort of test this policy to see if it was a policy that could be worked.
The next several, AFA, AFB, CM, CBB, are all policies that just